Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 3 of Magic After Midnight. The next morning, Marcia wakes up on the couch to the reek of garbage. A cell phone is ringing. Seeing her brother's number, she picks up. Marcia, Fernando says without preamble. The assisted living centre is saying that you requested that I be given durable power of attorney for mother and father. Yes, says Marcia. I need you to do that, Fernando. My firm is going public. I'm pulling 80 hours a week right now. What about Sarah? Marcia says, referring to Fernando's wife. She is staying at home. You have a nanny and we can't have Sarah making medical decisions for our parents, says Fernando. I like Sarah, Marcia says. She's too busy with our twins, says Fernando. Marcia scrunches her eyes shut. But there is a light ping at the end of the line and Fernando says, it's my investors, I have to go. And he's gone. Marcia puts her head in her hands. It's been years since she lost William, and she had thought she was used to it. She loved William. They may not have always been perfect together, but they were always on each other's team. Now that she's playing solo, and the weight of his absence is suddenly so heavy, she feels like she can't breathe. She sucks in a deep breath to prove herself she still can, and is overwhelmed by the reek of garbage. Her throat tight, she gets up, goes to the kitchen. Alicia's and Joshua's doors are shut. Cindy is leaning against the counter eating yogurt from the container, last night's makeup smeared down her face. She still looks gorgeous, but how can you eat with that reek? Marcia asks, throwing her yogurt container in the sink. Cindy hisses. Deirdre says you are ridiculous. Storms out, slams the door. Marcia should feel angry, but then she hears Cindy break down into sobs. She feels her stomach churn. If she doesn't take the garbage out, she'll probably throw up. Well, Joshua might, but he'll complain about it the entire time. Cindy will call him a drama queen. He'll say, Pot, you're black. And the situation will go downhill from there. If Joshua doesn't take the garbage out, Alicia will. She won't complain, won't say a word. She'll just do it. And for some reason, Marcia finds that scenario worse. Sighing and holding her nose, Marcia opens the garbage can. A moment later, she steps out of their apartment, pats down the hole in her pyjamas, her nose wrinkled, her stomach about to heave, carrying a stinking, dripping bag of fermented yuck. She's almost at the door of the garbage chute when a voice behind her says, Madam, may I help you with that? She turns. She sees a man, only a man with fangs. Screams and promptly drops the garbage. The man swoops in, picks up the garbage, points to the door Marcia was just about to go into. Is that the rubbish chute? She nods dumbly. It's the same man-vampire she'd spoken to last night. The one with the teenagers. The one who tried to seduce a daughter. The man may be vampire and disappears into the garbage room. The door to Marcia's apartment opens. Alicia hangs off the door frame from the hallway and demands, Mum, did you take out the garbage again? Marcia darts for the door. Joshua's indignant voice rises from the apartment. You made Mum take out the garbage. She hears Cindy angrily taunt. She decided to do it herself. It was her choice, nobody else's. Joshua roars, because you were too lazy. And now the house smells like putrid chicken. I'm sticking this piece of bubblegum in your sewing machine, Cindy says. Feeling her stomach rolling, Marcia rushes past Alicia and says, "Shut the door." Not pausing for a breath, she gasps, "Cindy, don't you dare." "Ah, I see I've come to the right domicile," says the man. Marcia blinks. Cindy comes running out of Joshua's room with her brother in her pursuit so fast that Marcia's head spins. She turns and finds the maybe vampire in the doorway. Alicia's lips are parted, her eyes are wide, and she is looking quickly between Marcia and the maybe bloodsucker. "Mom," Alicia whispers, "I recognise him from the party. We shouldn't really slam the door in his face." Before Marcia can protest, the man asks, "May I come in?" He is definitely a vampire. Marcia can see his fangs when he talks. Throwing up in her hands, Marcia implores, "Don't let him." "Sure," says Cindy. He steps in with a smile, giving Marcia an odd look. Alicia shuts the door behind him. Eyes wide, Marcia backs up. She tries to think of anything in the kitchen that might do as a wooden stake, and gestures for Alicia to stand next to her. Alicia just looks at her, quizzically. "How can we help you?" says Joshua. Rolling at his heels, Cindy elbows him. He elbows her back. Marcia wonders if she can hit a wooden spoon against the counter hard enough to break it. That might give it a sharp edge. Maybe. She starts slowly edging toward the kitchen, motioning for Alicia to follow. Alicia's brow furrows, and she doesn't move. Marcia sucks in a breath, and normally she thinks of her eldest child as the most perceptive one. The vampire clears his throat. "I apologise for disturbing you. My name is Derek Razveno." A long litany of syllables follows. You must see their slack jaws, because he clears his throat and adds, "Please just call me Dare. I'll be working with the Night Elf Embassy first off. I want to return this." He opens a satchel and pulls out a package in blue tissue paper. Bowing to Cindy, he says, "Your shoe, madame." Cindy smiles, puts a hand to her mouth and walks forward to take it. Before she can, Marcia snatches it from his hand, and then she hands it to Cindy, but all the while glaring at the vamp. Cindy gives Marcia a dirty look, and then smiles at Dare and says, "And?" The vampire opens his mouth as though to speak, and the fangs, they're still there. Can't her children see them? Are they just blinded by how handsome he is? How otherworldly? "If you're here for Cindy's hand in marriage, take her," Joshua says. "Joshua," Marcia hisses, edging towards the kitchen. "Pardon?" the vampire says, eyes widening, skin flushing all the way to the ears. He's deviously hidden, their pointed tips behind his curls. Marcia notices. When a family's bodies are found later, the neighbours won't identify the man who entered their home as an elf. Cindy doesn't hear Joshua, or doesn't care. Blinking up at the vamp, she gushes. "The prince. The prince. Did he send you?" The vampire's jaw drops and he looks at Cindy. "Ah," he says, and Marcia can see the exact moment he catches on to what she's getting at. "He did not send me. I have business this way, and I thought I might return the shoe as well." Cindy's face crumples. She bows her head, turns on her heel, walks to her room, slams the door. Marcia has one kid out of the way. Now, how to get the other two? She gestures to Alicia again. "Mum, are you feeling all right?" Alicia asks her. The vampire looks at Marcia's eldest daughter and back to Marcia. "My primary order of business is to speak to you, madame. It is a matter of most urgent importance. Marcia says, "You're," she almost says, "a vampire." But she manages to catch herself before she actually does and keep quiet. She smells the garbage on her and him. It gives a pause. Had she ever seen a horror movie where a vampire helped take out garbage? "He's a night elf, Mum," Joshua says, in the same tone he used to say, "You're embarrassing me." "Not as dangerous as you perhaps think," the vampire says, gold-flecked eyes on her. The kids look between themselves and shrug. The vampire takes a deep breath and then adds, "The survival of my species is at stake," he winces. "If you'll pardon the expression." Marcia raises an eyebrow. The kid's lips purse, and after a long pause, Alicia says, "Mum, I think you have to help him." "Yeah, Mum. I don't think the Sierra Club will ever let you back in again if you refuse to save an endangered species," Joshua added. And he added this with much sincerity. Marcia glares at the vampire. He looks contrite. He's in a room, and if he's going to attack them, wouldn't he have done it by now? Also, it's daylight, and he's out and about. Since the realms have opened up, humans have learned that a lot of things they believed about magical creatures weren't true. It is possible vampire fearsomeness might be another myth. Or maybe he's not a vampire at all. Maybe he sucks the nectar out of flowers, or some such with those fangs. She huffs. Nope, she doesn't believe that. Looking nervously to his side, he says, "We need to speak someplace private, if you don't mind. Vampires in myths and movies don't talk nicely. They either bite you and drain your blood, well, or just plain slaughter you, use you, control you by magic, then drain you later." Marcia swallows. There's only one place to talk that doesn't entrail leaving her children. "The balcony is private," she says, and he looks beyond her. "Ah, there." He asks, "The apartment is rather small." Marcia nods. "Yes, but that will do." He raises his hands. "May I wash up first? My hands smell like putrid chicken." More than anything, that makes Marcia think it might not be immediately dangerous. Marcia points to the right powder room. The powder room's right there. She watches him go in, and then glances at the balcony. It's early morning, but the balcony is western facing, so there is no sun. Putting her hand to her side, she wonders if he gives up his right to entry as soon as he steps back onto that balcony. I mean, it's like stepping outside again, isn't it? She's also considering and wondering if she can perhaps push him off the balcony herself. All this she's contemplating while he's in the washroom washing his hands. And that's the end of episode 3. It's interesting because, yeah, they are night elves, but because of the fangs, she's absolutely convinced the vampires, which maybe they are, maybe they're not. Who knows yet? I know my beliefs and I know what I think, but I guess the story will tell in time. Thank you for listening and many blessings.